Ladies and gentlemen, children of the interwebs out there, Sebastian Javicia style cinephile and Batwoman Season 2. Episode 1 is here. Let us geek about it for a scant few minutes. Now, this episode had a lot to do in short order. It had to excise Kate Kane from the show, get rid of Ruby Rose, bring in Javicia Leslie Ryan Wilder character, put her in the suit, and then set this, give us some of the nuggets, the nuts and bolts of what kind of the rest of the season was going to be. So there's a lot to go on here. Let's just get it out of the way already. Javicia Leslie is a far, far better actress than Ruby Rose. Just easily. She just has a charisma, just more of a command of the scenes that she's in than Ruby Rose ever had. Now, I'm a fan of Ruby. I love Ruby Rose. Not a fan of how she kind of like just told him to kick rocks and jettison, herself from the show, thus caused all this, kerfuffle in between these seasons. But I still like her. I'm still a fan of her. But Javicia Leslie is just a far better actor. So she brought more than what I expected to the role of Ryan Wilder, kind of going into it. Now we find out early on through some exposition of some scenes and some flashbacks that Ryan Wilder had an adopted mom. The adopted mom died, and that's kind of when her world fell apart. She was arrested on a drug charge, so she's an ex-con. There was some shifty Crow stuff going on. We already know the Crows are dirty from the last season, so it's kind of, I'm wondering if that's going to come up later on in the season. And we find out that Ryan taught martial arts, which of course gives her the ability to do some fisticuffs in the Batsuit. And what I thought was going to happen early on, when we knew that there was going to be a new person in the Batsuit, was going to be that the person, in this case Ryan, was going to find the suit, use the suit. Mary and Luke were going to take back the suit because, hey, you're not Batwoman, you don't deserve that suit. And then circumstances were going to come up where they needed her to be in the suit. They were going to go get her, recruit her, pull her back in the fold. I thought Mary was going to be the one to go get her, have a heart-to-heart with her, pull her back into the fold, and thus she would be the new Batwoman. There would be, clashes here and there because Kate's style is different from Ryan's style, etc., etc. And that's how the season would play out. Now we're starting down that path because, true to form, opening minutes of the episode, there's a plane that goes down. Presumably it's Kate's plane because she went to go to National City to visit Kara. Plane goes down. Kate is MIA, but there's the suit there. Ryan is living out of her van, finds the suit, recovers it, wants to put it on, use it to exact some vengeance because, as we find out, Ryan's adopted mother was killed by some squatters in a new apartment that she and Ryan were going to move into. The squatters were connected to the Wonderland gang, which of course connected to Alice. So that's going to be the connection. Season 1 was so just built up on this connection with Alice and Kate. So I was kind of wondering, okay, if there's no Kate, how are you going to keep Alice connected to whoever's going to be in the suit? Well, this is how they did it. And we get through a visit with, I guess, her parole person, that she has this feeling of just being powerless because of the circumstances that happened to her with her mother, adopted mother being killed, the drug stuff, the corrupt Crows. So she's been, a lot of power in her life has been taken from her. So she sees the suit as a way to get some of that power back. So she has built-in reason to go after Alice. Probably go after her a different way because Kate, for the most part, wanted to save her. Ryan is just going to want to take her out. So Kate is missing. Everybody's looking for her. I guess this is a way, because writers early on, it was reported that they had thought about killing Kate. And this is kind of a way to do it, but not do it because it's comic books. If there's no body, it means they can come back at any point in time. If Ruby Rose ever decides to come back to the show to kind of tie off this loose end or whatever. And maybe she will. Speaking of returns, Bruce Wayne is back because we saw Tommy Elliott get his face in the finale of Season 1. He's parading around as Bruce. He wants access to the Batsuit, to all the toys. He wants to be Batman. He also needs to recover the kryptonite for Alice, who still wants to use it to, penetrate the Batsuit or whatever, or take out Batwoman. Tommy kind of questions, well, you had ample opportunity, and this is something, it's almost like a call out to the writers, because in the first season, she had ample opportunity to kill Kate. Kate had ample opportunity to bring in Alice, but there was just plot-induced stupidity to the levels of the Flash season with the Thinker and with Cicada that was just so dumb, where the heroes got what they needed to do, done, and they would just stand around and talk, and then the villain would get away and thus stretch things out. So much of that was going on in Season 1. Tommy's like, hey, why didn't you just shoot her? You had plenty of time to shoot her. Apparently Alice's ultimate plan is to have Jacob Kane, who doesn't like Batwoman, to be the one to gun down Batwoman, take off the mask, and, you know, just be traumatized because he shot his own daughter. That was her master plan. Alice eventually does tell Jacob that Kate is Batwoman while he's, you know, grieving, and promises to not give up searching for her like he did Alice. And that's, you know, a mind-blowing thing for Jacob. We find out through a letter that Kate wrote to Sophie. She tells her that she's Batwoman. So, like, the CW's history of just having everybody know the identity of the superhero in the mask, it continues in this episode, because so many people now know that Kate is Batwoman. Tommy wants the suit, so he actually goes after Ryan for the suit, because Ryan feels like she's, after using it, after encountering Mary and Luke, and realizing that there's more to being a Batwoman, and that she reads a bunch of stuff about Kate, and sees that Kate is both a hero in the suit and out of the suit, and she's not. So she's like, I'm not worthy of the suit, I'm going to give it back, I'm going to turn the GPS on so you can come find it. Little does she know, it's Tommy that's coming to get the suit in the Batmobile, which I'm wondering, now that we have the Batmobile, if Ryan is going to use the car as opposed to the bike. Wondering about that. Tommy goes after Ryan, ends up shooting her with the kryptonite, and then gets his butt beat by Ryan, who apparently went Super Saiyan after he smashed her, you know, plant. She has a potted plant that she talks to, and it gets smashed, and then that makes her go Super Saiyan, because that's like her only friend is a plant. And the episode kind of closes out with Ryan bringing back the suit, saying, hey, I'm not a hero, that Kate was, deuces. And then we find out that while Ryan was shot with the kryptonite that went through the suit, she takes bandage off, closing moments of the show, and we see that it's like it's kryptonite poisoning, which could end up bringing her back to Luke and Mary, as opposed to them going back for her, to recruit her, but to bring her back to the mask. She might go to them because she needs them to help her with kryptonite poisoning that she's getting. And we also find out that Sophia, who was name dropped in the first season, we know she was cast for this season. She's some international criminal boss, terrorist type of person. She kind of makes overtures to Alice that she had something to do with Kate's plane going down. Now, did she? Who knows? Kind of sets up like tasty little like mystery. And again, there's no body, so Kate can presumably come back. But Alice is going on the presumption that Sophia killed Kate. She says in closing episodes, as she cuddles up to Mouse, who she killed, his dead body, that a war is coming to Gotham. There's no Batwoman to stop it. End of episode. So, I mean, like I said, there's a lot to get to. There's a lot to kind of excise with Kate, and a lot to kind of set up with the nuts and bolts for the rest of the season. Again, I think they did the best that they could under the circumstances with the script, with introducing us to Ryan, and making her just a likable character. Like I said, Javicia is just a far better actor than Ruby Rose, and I think that lent itself to her performance on screen. The circumstances still suck. I think this show would have been better if it started season 1 with Ryan Wilder somehow getting into the suit and just having stuff, you know, play out that way. I think she's good enough for that. The fact that she's kind of saddled with some of the season 1 baggage, as I said, they tried to excise. But there's still a lot to it. I mean, there's tons of other episodes with, you know, Kate Kane that we have to kind of overlook or look past, or just deal with the fact that it's not her. So that might be hard for some people. Will this change bring in some new viewers? We find out also Ryan is gay, so that's going to be kind of continuing LGBT representation in the suit. She's a person of color, so will that bring in more viewers that they did not have before when it was Ruby Rose? Kind of wonder about that. So I'm really kind of wondering the ratings. If the ratings for this episode are going to be huge because people were just tuned in for just the sheer curiosity of it, and then they'll just kind of peter out as the season goes, kind of what, you know, season 1 ratings did with Ruby Rose in the suit. So Batwoman season 2, are you here for it? I will be, just to talk about it here on these videos. What do you guys out there think? Let me know in the comments below. Follow me, social media, talk to me there, talk to me here. Until next time, let us geek.